partnerships, spread knowledge, and elevate standards. So, contribute your views in global affairs and join us as we document history in the making. Asia Vision. Asian news through Asian eyes.
Assalamu alaikum, I'm Zionat Hassan and you are watching the AVN News Bulletin of PSM News. In 2017, China's Xi Jinping rose to become the country's most powerful leader in decades. And as he shoulders more responsibility, analysts says the government in Beijing is likely to take more risks in 2018 at home and overseas, even as it deals with economic challenges at home, a nuclear North Korea and the looming threat of trade tensions with the United States. VOA's Bill Ide has this report.
Xi Jinping is the core leader of the Communist Party, and like Mao Zedong, his name and political thought are now written into the party's constitution. As head of the world's second-largest economy, he is leading a push to sell what he calls the China solution, Beijing's effort to help solve the world's financial and political uncertainties. In 2018, analysts see him continuing to seize opportunities overseas as they arise.
There's a window of opportunity internationally created by the Trump administration and Brexit and a few other things, Middle East. And there's been, despite the risks seen, for example, in Pakistan with building of ports and infrastructure, they basically doubled down.
China's trillion-dollar strategic and trade program, the Belt and Road Initiative, includes projects like a multi-billion-dollar deep-sea port in Gwadar, Pakistan, and an economic corridor through the country, which is plagued by terrorist threats. There has been pushback there against the program and port, as well as other Chinese policies in the region. Beijing's military expansion of man-made islands continues in the South China Sea, but China is also showing flexibility as it works on a code of conduct, analysts say. At the same time, North Korea remains a huge uncertainty for China, even as Beijing deals with the looming threat of a possible trade war with the United States.
If you've got risky economics and risky politics together, then you don't just have 2 times the risk, you've got the risk squared.
At home, Xi's power also brings opportunities and risk as well.
If those in Xi's leadership team make mistakes or handle issues inappropriately, the public will feel that he has not made good choices, and he'll bear complete responsibility.
A recent uproar over the forced eviction of migrant workers in Beijing and backlash over a plan to force residents in the Northeast to shift away from coal in the cold of winter, even before much of the infrastructure was finished, are 2 recent examples. Analysts say that while cronies of Xi managed to wiggle out of those challenges largely unscathed, both highlight how the stakes and expectations are higher. Bill Ide, VOA News, Beijing.
Iranian President Hassan Rouhani says U.S. President Donald Trump has no right to express sympathy for the Iranian people after referring to them as terrorists. Trump has praised protesters in Iran for rallying against the government's economic policy. VOA's Dalita Hoke reports.
Anti-government protests in Iran have continued for a 4th consecutive day Sunday in several parts of the country. The protests began in the northeast as an outcry against economic hardship and rising prices, but as they spread, some rallies also called for an end to the clerical regime. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani on Sunday said that people have the right to protest and criticize the government. But in a speech at a cabinet meeting, he also said social unrest and destruction of public property will not be tolerated.
The government will definitely not tolerate those groups who are after the destruction of public properties or disrupting the public order or sparking riots in the society. Our people will not tolerate it either.
The protests have been the biggest show of discontent in Iran since the 2009 rallies following a disputed presidential election. The government has imposed what it calls temporary restrictions on the instant messaging applications Telegram and Instagram used by the protesters. Iran's interior minister said security forces had identified protesters with links to Iran's enemies and that they will be prosecuted in due course.
We all saw how they misused cyberspace and promoted violence, trained systematic riots, taught weapons and explosives crafting, stimulated protesters to fight the police and encouraged the burning of houses and stores. These individuals are surely not part of the Iranian people.
Iranians living in exile also demonstrated in support of their compatriots. U.S. President Donald Trump has praised the protesters, saying in one tweet that people of Iran finally see that their money is being stolen and squandered on terrorism. President Rouhani said Trump had no right to express sympathy for the Iranians.
This guy in America who wants to sympathize with our people today has forgotten he had called the Iranian people terrorists a few months ago.
Trump has been a harsh critic of a deal Iran signed with 6 nations, including the United States, to halt its nuclear program. Zlarica Hoke, VOA News, Washington.
Asia Vision, Asian news through Asian eyes.
Saving digital files in commercial memory banks called cloud storage is a cheap and convenient way for long-term storage of documents, photos, music and video. Private users as well as businesses can access them from anywhere and share them with whomever they give the password to. Providers such as Dropbox, Google Drive or Amazon S3 claim almost absolute security. But computer scientists say the protection should be in the user's hands. VO's George Puttich has more.
Unlike sharing family photos on Facebook, where anyone can see them, a user can upload the files to a cloud service, protected by a password called the key. Only those who know the key can have the access to the uploaded files. Instead of investing in large data storage, businesses can keep their files in the cloud and share them with their remote offices. But distributing the keys and updating them when a client wants to change who can access the data may create problems.
Updating the users in a group or the permissions that a group has in the system, you start seeing these cascading needs to download files, decrypt them, re-encrypt them, re-upload them, and redistribute keys.
Cloud storages are also prone to hacking. During the first half of 2017, there have been almost 800 data breaches into cloud platforms in the U.S. Scientists at the University of Pittsburgh say they want to create a system in which all encryption will stay on the client's machine, so the client will be able to control not only access to data, but also what any of the users will be allowed to do with it.
The mentality that we are taking with this is that it's much easier to change the software on my machine than it is to convince a service provider to completely change the way that they're doing things.
The client will be able to identify the shared folders they want to protect, set the policy of who is allowed to see what, and the rest will happen behind the scenes.
We're more focused on the policy enforcement, so we're allowing a user to basically dictate not necessarily what a provider can do, but what everyone can do with their data.
Researchers say their new app for a better encryption of cloud storage may be ready for download within a year. George Puttich, VOA News, Pittsburgh.
When you think about America's national parks, what probably comes to mind first is America's very first national park, Yellowstone. That was Micah Myers' next stop as he neared the halfway point in his quest to visit every one of the 470 national park sites. He shared highlights of his visit there with VOA's Faith Lapidus.
Old Faithful is the best-known feature of Yellowstone National Park, which is home to about 500 geysers and some 10,000 other geothermal sites. National Parks traveler Micah Meyer got a chance to see many of them on his visit to the first national park in the world, established by Congress in 1872. He noted that it has half the world's geysers within its borders.
They have geysers that range from Old Faithful to these geysers that are basically holes in the ground that give us a glimpse into what the bubbling, boiling earth underneath is like.
And some of what bubbles up is mud.
They look like some sort of witch's concoction because you're just walking along this boardwalk and suddenly a place where you can see the earth's underbelly.
The vibrant colors in Yellowstone's hot springs are It must go down, and down fast, as the Yellowstone River tumbles over waterfalls on its way through the park. The Lower Falls is the tallest waterfall in Yellowstone, at 90 Niagara Falls. More than 4 million vessels. And there are plenty of other animals. In fact, Yellowstone is home to the largest concentration of mammals in the lower 48 states, including predators like bears. But the main draw remains the regular eruption of Old Faithful.
If you are on the hunt for better...
I'm Faith Lapidus. Route.
Hello, hello.
Hi. A dress shop that doesn't sell ready-to-wear clothes.
Do you want to make it kind of short? Yeah. And then you could wear it with tights in the winter. Okay.
The store's owners turn old dresses she bought at a thrift store into new, stylish outfits.
The fabric, has not been in production for a long time, so it's unique in that own aspect. Well, here's the thing that we can do.
And there's another reason Heck prefers tailoring old outfits to buying new ones.
The problem with clothing nowadays is that it seems to be a standard sizing, and if you don't fit into that exact standard sizing, that the clothing doesn't fit well.
So like the skirt has a little bit of flair to it.
Kristen Swenson and her friend Erin Dirge opened Ginger Root 2 years ago.
Sometimes you can just get away with hemming something, and that's all it needs. Otherwise, you can hem it, remove the sleeves, take in the waist, and that's good. Or sometimes we'll take dresses and turn them into blouses or jackets. We always try to put projects like that on our website, on our blog, just to give people inspiration.
Dirge says redesigning an old garment is often intriguing, sometimes challenging, but always fun.
It's kind of like sculpture. It sort of feels like that, like you're kind of chipping away at this fabric and cutting out the damaged parts. It feels kind of like archaeology when you open up a jacket and you see the way someone else worked on it.
The accessories sold at Ginger Root are also made of recycled materials by Dirge's mother.
Each layer is cut from a different metal or repurposed item. This was a serving tray with some hieroglyphic things stamped in it. This is a Formica countertop. This is a dried leaf that she etched into the metal and put a patina on to really show the texture.
Old neckties find new life as bow ties at Brown Bell, Mariama Bramble's business that grew out of a hobby. She takes the ties apart, washes them, and adds interfacing before sewing and ironing them.
And give it a good press, and then it's done.
Bramble sells her products online. The fact that they're recycled, she says, makes them more marketable.
So I definitely see that people are appreciating something that is a little bit more unique. And generally with handmade items, it's not mass-produced, so it's a little bit more special.
Ginger Root's Erin Dirge agrees. She says the demand for environment-friendly fashion is increasing, and so is her feeling that she's making a difference in the industry.
The fashion industry has so much waste associated with it. So much fabric gets thrown out, so many dyes and things that can really affect the environment.
For writer Faiza El Masri, I'm Faith Lapidus, VOA News.
With that, we conclude the AVN News Bulletin for today. Thank you for joining us, and have a pleasant day ahead. Bye-bye.
Asia Vision, Asian news through Asian eyes.
Israel salgun danwa den ben mani adi algunuga adu asomongendo huri hadi vehi lobet rayidunas danwa den ben mani adu wasabashe ගෞම්ගේ හමජිහුමා සුල්හයා ගෞම් දෙකේ ලෝබි වුමබුරින් කුරියකම් එබ්ස්කමෙන් නාන්නන් ගෞම්ගේ හමජිහුමෙ නැති හමජිහුම හෝදුම නැති කුරා මසකතුග ඩෙමොක්‍රසි අශයෙන් නුගන්නාන ඒ හම ෆේල්ඩ් නූනි ෆේල් වානේ නිසාමේ ගොත දුනියගේ තම මිතනුග දක්කයි හුරිහා ගමකබුරින් ඉස්කමෙ දෙන්ජේනි මුකද්දස් කමෙක ගොතුග මියොන්නනි ඒ තනුගොන්න හමජිහුම් ඒ තනුගොන්න හමජිහුම්ග තෙරෙන් ඩෙමොක්‍රටික් එකේකි ලීඩරුන් ඒ දක්වා වාහපුරු දක්වම වානේ කුෂන් අරාගතුමක ගොයෙන් නුදෙබේනේ මේ ඩෙමොක්‍රසිගේ සිෆෙන්නු මුවස්සසාත හදා කොල්දාක අඩේ නූපුදෙනේ මේ ඩෙමොක්‍රසිගේ සිෆෙන්නු පඩියාරුගේක අදුලින් සාහබගේ දායරාක ෆාලුග සියාසි ලීඩරුනක ෆාඩේ නුකියනේ මේ ඩෙමොක්‍රසිගේ සිෆෙන්නු සිෆෙන්න ෆුදුහුන්නා හමලාදේ මග්මච නුකුන්නාක මීහුන්න හිවර්දී මොතන්තන ගොයෙන් නුදෙබේනේ මේකේ ඩෙමොක්‍රසිගේ සිෆෙන්නු මේ දවලතේ මේ ගෞමෙක්ගේ රුකුරුවාලේ ෆුන සෆත හදා කොල්දන් කුරවේ මසකේ මේ එනාකිස්ට් විෂ්ණු මේ තනේ ෆනාකුරා විෂ්ණු ඩෙමොක්‍රසිගේ හමතහකි උසූලා ගානුනා ගවායදුග තෙරෙන් කංකං හාසිල් කුරුම් ඒ ඩෙමොක්‍රසියකි එකෙක්ගේ බණුම් විහේ මෆූමෙන්නු ඩෙමොක්‍රසියකි එම්මෙන්නම් එන්හමේග එව්වරක එකුලවේ නිසාමෙන් ඒ නිසාමුව එකබුරින් බරුග දනකකුණු ಹುಣ್ಣಾಣ එම එව්වෙස් සියාසි ලීඩරක මෙදෙන්නේ ගොතක මුවස්සසාද ෆනාකුරාකක් ගොේ නුදෙබෙන් අදි දිවෙහිරාජයේග ෆතිෆු බේරුව කියාග හක්බු නූන් ගොතෙග ඉස්තිහාරු කුරාක ජාගේ නුදිබෙන්
MMPRසින් ඉස්නගෑගෙන් කොම්මෙ අහරුකුස් රාජ්‍ය ziyaare කුරා ෆුරතම ෆතුරුවරියන් අනනි හූණු මර්හබයි කියමුන් මිහරු රාජ්‍ය ziyaare කුරි ෆුරතම ෆතුරුවරියාගේ ලග බෝදාෆාවණි ඉංග්‍රීසි විලාතන් උෆන් උමරුන් සතාර හරුගේ ජෝර්ජිනා හෝල්බ්රුක් ඒනා රාජ්‍ය ඇස්ෆාවණි හෙඳුණු හතේ ජහිරු වෙලානා ඉන්ටර්නැෂනල් එයාපෝර්ට් කා ජෙසි ෆ්ලයි දුබායිගේ ෆ්ලයිටකුන් ಜೋರ್ಜಿನಾ ರಾಜ್ಯಾಯಿ ಏನಾಗೆ ಮಮ್ಮೆಯ ಬಪ್ಪೆಯಾಯಕು ಏನಾಗೆ ಅಶಾರವಣ ಉಫಂದುವಸ್ ಫಾಹಗ ಕುರುಮ ಎಂಎಂಪಿಆರ್ಸಿಯ ಎಂಎಸಿಎಲ್ಲ ಫತುರೇರ್ಕಂಗೆ ದಾಯಿರಾಗ ಹರಕ್ಯಾತೆರಿವ ಬೈ ಕುಂಫುಣಿತೋಗೆ ಇಸ್ವೆರಿಂವಣಿ ವೆಲಾಣ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಏರ್ಪೋರ್ಟುಂ ಜೋರ್ಜಿನಾಂಗ್ ಹೂಣು ಮರ್ಹಬಾಯ್ ಕಿಯಾಫಾ ಅದಿ ಫುರತಮ ಫತುರೇರಿಯಾಕಂ ಅಂಗ್ಯಾದೆ ಹಂದಾಣಿ ಲಿಯುಮಕ ಹಾಸ ಹದಿಯಾಯವೆಸ್ ಏನಾವಣಿ ದೀಫಾ ಮೀಗೆತುರುಂ ಏನಾಂಗ್ ಹುರವಳಿ ಐಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸ್ಪಾಯಿಂ ವಣಿ ಹೆದ್ದು ಹುರುಮ್ಗೆ ಫುರ್ಸತ್ವೆಸ್ ಹಿಲೇ ದೀಫಾ ವೆಲಾನಾ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಏರ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಗಾಹುರೆ ನೂಸೆರಿನ ವಾಹಕದ ಕಮುಂ ಜೋರ್ಜಿನಾ ಬುನಿ ಮಿಯಹರು ರಾಜ್ಯ ziyaare ಕುರಿ ಫುರತಮ ಫತುರೇರಿಯಾಗೆ ಲಗಬ್ ಏನಾ ಲಿಬುಮುಂ ವರಂ ಉಫಾವಾ ಕಮ ಅದಿ ರಾಜ್ಯಕಿ ಏನಾ ಎಮ್ಮೆ ಗಯಾವಾ ಮಂಜಿಲ್ ಕಮಶಾ ಮಿ ಏನಾ ರಾಜ್ಯ ziyaare ಕುರಿ ಹವನ ಫಹರು ಕಮ
I think it's an absolute honor to be able to be the first visitor this year. I absolutely love coming here.